update on Joey?
No update yet on Joey.
The turnaround on third down defensively has been pretty remarkable. I think you guys are 26th in the league through the first 12 weeks, first in the league for the last 4 weeks, and under 20% in the last 2 weeks. What do you attribute that to?
I think we started off the season the way we wanted to, and then in the middle there is when we didn't perform very well, and that kind of slipped us down. I think, number one, we're getting into a lot of favorable down and distances. I think we're playing first and second down at a high level, and we're getting those, 6, 7 pluses, which is where you want to be. And I think that all 3 levels of third down defense are working together. I think our pass rush and our pass coverage are really fitting well together, our coverage disguise. And I think that that's really what makes good third down teams. And I think that we're rushing at a high level. And it's not just about sack production. I know that we've had a lot of sack production, which is fantastic, but just rushing the quarterback the right way and then making sure from a coverage standpoint that we're in the right coverage communication, that we're playing the right technique. And I think that we've done a good job of just playing together. And how we've played on third down, I think, is how we've played on first and second down. And, our guys are playing with a lot of energy, too. There's a lot of confidence, a lot of energy. And third down's one of those downs where, you need all that, And I think our crowd has been fantastic when we've been at home, certainly against Miami and Tennessee. The crowd was a great factor. And our guys are looking forward to that down. And that's what you want on defense.
Brandon, what went into the decision today to not hold a block or anything?
Yeah, Lindsay, we got home at 5:30 in the morning, really, really early. And, I just felt like getting our guys back today with a flush out, like workout and recovery session, would just get their clock. It would kind of be like a normal week where they get a day off and then, another day. And then we just get into the preparation, kind of treat it like a Thursday game where we have, first, second, third down tomorrow and then red area situations the next day and then a walkthrough on Saturday. But I just really felt like our team just needed to get itself back after a really late trip.
As you kind of navigated the roller coaster of this season, is there anyone that you've leaned on to call, like any coaches or mentors or anything like that, just to try to help navigate everything that's going on?
Lindsay, I've tried to really lean into the people here on the team. I think that we have really good leadership on this team, guys who have helped me with their experiences, Ronaldo Hill, Ryan Ficken, Joe Lombardi, my coordinators, and then a lot of guys that I'm really close with on the staff that I've worked with in a lot of other places, Jay Rogers, Derek Ansley, Tom Marth, who's been with me. I've tried to lean on those people, and then the people within our organization too, the Spanos family, Tom Telesco, Ed McGuire, really trying to make it more about our team because they know me so well. And then, I really kind of lean into my family too, my twin brother particularly, my wife Aim. So, I feel like they're the ones that know you the best. And, I feel like that's how I've been able to, navigate the season.
Brandon, how much has Tom meant to you as a sounding board this year, kind of, because you got your start with him and everything and just bringing him aboard?
Huge. He's a huge asset for me, huge asset for us offensively and then situationally and then just team building. We've known each other so long and we believe in the same principles of how to run a team. And then just his background playing in the NFL and being a head football coach. And I think offensively, just how we see the game. Defensively, he can help me because he's been with me so long. He knows how I see the game. And then on game day, he's been great with a dithy up in the box situationally, helping us at a high level from a game management standpoint. So, as Lindsay mentioned, you need people like that. You need people who are close to you, who know you, who can challenge you and push you in the right ways. And I'm certainly glad we have him.
It's a challenge game planning to go into head coach where you obviously know a lot of his tendencies kind of on his staff.
I think the thing about Sean, and this year's a good example of it, is just he can shapeshift based on the players that he has. I think that's what he did such a good job of throughout his whole time in LA is, relative to what type of group he has, he's been able to change for it, and I think the way he's been able to navigate this season with all the injuries is just a testament to how good of a coach he is. And you just know going into a matchup that he's going to have a plan ready for you. Week to week, he's going to pour his heart and soul into that plan to give his guys a great chance to win. And I think you can see it by the way that Baker's played for him, since he's gotten there in a short amount of time. It's a really good coaching staff over there, and there's a lot of pride with those players. And those players have played in a lot of premium games, and you can see it. Last week, it was on display in terms of how they played. I don't think that people would have predicted that type of game, but the people that know that team, that know him, definitely would have predicted that could happen. So he's just an outstanding coach, and we're going to have a great game plan.
How much has Sean McVay impacted some of the qualities that you've brought here and the culture that you've built here with the Chargers?
Yeah, we had a really unique year together. It was, the COVID year, and it's a guy that I did not know prior to interviewing with him. I knew of him through my, good friend Chris Shula, knew a lot about him. But I think, we spent a lot of time together in a little bit less than a year. Spent a lot of time together. And I think the way that we see the game, you kind of met someone that really, I think the stars align that way in terms of philosophically how you see the game, offense, defense, kicking game, how you lead, how you teach, personnel, all that good stuff. And, that was it was an incredible year for the both of us, and I know that we accomplished a lot together, and I certainly wouldn't be here without him. But I think that, there's a lifelong friend there, and a guy that at the same time is we're great competitors, and so even though we're good friends, it's this game's going to be about competition, and, I'm excited to take the field on Sunday.
You guys are obviously both super busy, but do you communicate with Sean at all? Like this season, have you guys exchanged texts?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Mostly texts. There's not too much time to talk on the phone. And when you do have time, you're talking to your family most of the time. But definitely, they've been going through it too. So, I think it's great to have those type of allies, and those people that know you well. And, we definitely, stay in touch. And like I said, this coaching job that he's doing this year is just as impressive as any of the other years that he's had.
Ricky,
I don't want to get into too personal stuff, but can you share any kind of even the nature of the text? Is it just kind of encouragement back and forth kind of stuff?
Yeah, if you see something that, like after a good game, or maybe it's a great play design or whatever, something he said, that catches your eye, just, showing people the respect that they earn. And, that's what friends are for. And so those are kind of the natures of the text.
We've talked a lot about how you want pocket movement to be a big part of the offense. In that Colts game, you only got to a few of those kinds of concepts that didn't obviously go well. There was a sack, a scramble on one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Was that something the Colts were doing to, I know in the Raiders game you said that they were discouraging you from getting that stuff. Was that kind of the case in this game? Or?
I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's the nature of the defense that we played last week. So we definitely have been at our best when we play like that. And we've got to continue to do a good job of marrying the run with the pass game, and making sure that those run actions look like passes and vice versa. And we just got to keep playing that complementary ball, because that's when you can be more explosive.
So I guess why not get to more of that stuff?
We did. Just there wasn't the success, I think, when we activated that. And then, the game turns a different direction, and you're kind of going with the flow of the game. I thought in the second half we ran the football, at a high level, and that's what we were trying to do. Once we got the 2-score lead, really try and lean on them a little bit. And so maybe where you would call some of those play action passes, those were kind of replaced by runs. And I think that's what you saw kind of in the fourth quarter specifically.
Brandon, getting to the playoffs has been a big hurdle for this franchise for several years. They've always had high expectations, but for whatever reason haven't made it. Now that you have, a couple of days have passed, just how big a step for the organization, for the team has this been?
I think it's the right step. That's how I would characterize it. I wouldn't say it's a big step. It's the right step. You have to make the playoffs in order to be a world champion. So I think that's a good place to start. But that's where we expected to be. I think our path to get here, like I said, no one, I think, could have predicted that. And that's what, again, after the game, that's what I'm happy about, is that we were able to earn our way there the way that we earned our way there. I think that that's significant. But really, for us, it's about playing our best, here at the end of the season. And that's still out there for our team, and that's where our focus has got to be. And that's why we got to treat this week like it has a life of its own, because this is a really good team that we're playing, and there's still a lot of room for us to improve. And certainly the way we played the other night, that wasn't our best stuff. It wasn't our best stuff, and our team knows that, and that's why we got to get to work tomorrow and have a great practice.
Staying on that, what's the philosophy in these final 2 weeks? Are you solely focusing on seeding, or are you fully going full steam ahead, or are you kind of worried about health as well?
You're worried about all of it, but you're trying to win every game to improve your positioning for sure, and then you're factoring in those individual health situations, I think, on a case-by-case basis. That's kind of how you have to treat it. And, the facts are on the ground this week. We got to play this week, and then we'll see what happens next week. But you're taking both those things into consideration. But I think the biggest thing for us is we want to be playing our best football. And how we do that is attacking these next, 2 weeks in the right way. And this game against the Rams, because, this team is going to really bring out the best in us. And, they're a playoff caliber team and organization.
All things considered, how would you evaluate the job that Joe's done with the offense this year?
Yeah, I think Joe's really kind of kept the group together. I think offensively it's hard to, put into words, like when you're dealing with that many moving parts, both on the line and in the skill position, and your quarterback's hurt. There's a stretch there where you're having to navigate through a lot of traffic. And I think through his experiences that we've been able to do that and keep this thing steady. And then now that we're almost to full strength, we got to make the improvements to be playing our best at the end. And I think that's what we're searching for right now, is to find our rhythm where we can score the ball at a higher level, and be more explosive as a football team. And but I think he's done a quality job, and we wouldn't be here if we weren't able to navigate that 2.5 month stretch when all those things were happening. If he and our offensive staff weren't able to put that thing together.
You have your natural rivals in division, Chiefs, Raiders, etc. But when you're playing a team here that you share the city and you share the stadium, does that amp it up a little bit?
I think so. I think that we're all in the same market, but I think more than anything that it's a really good football team, and I think that good rivalries come from the quality of play, and I think that, they've had high quality, ever since Sean's been there, and so that, I think that matchup is going to bring out the best in both teams.
Is Derwin still in the protocol?
He is.
Some of the offensive guys said they've joined the defensive guys for team dinners during this win streak. Just what do you think, what kind of value does that bring to come together off the field that leads onto the field?
Yeah, the best teams are the teams that are the closest, that are the most personal. And I think that, as you guys know, since I've been here, that's been a big part of what I've tried to do here with this team, is to bring guys closer together. And sometimes, I think in free agency, when you're able to go get players, people, I think, underestimate the transition of bringing them to a new team. And sometimes that takes time. Relationships take time. And I think what you've seen throughout the course of our season is our team has grown a lot closer over the course of the season. And guys that maybe did not know each other well now know each other well. And now they're able to get into that rhythm and establish their traditions and those things that are special to the NFL. And, I think that you're seeing a team that's playing hard for each other. And I think that this team grows every week that way. And I think you can see it by the energy that we play with. Our sideline, I think that's a good place to look at in the NFL, is a team sideline. And, I love all that. And we got the right guys on that team for sure.
With the injuries that you've had on offense, how much has Austin Ekeler meant to this group, just with his consistency and the stats he's putting up? Yeah,
you said it. It's consistency and performance. And it's not just performance at the game, it's the performance in practice, the performance in the meeting rooms, in the weight room. He's just a total stabilizer. And then just the production. He got off to that, a little bit of a slow start, but then in Houston he really hit that gear. And then he went, he's been kind of going fantasy crazy ever since then, in terms of, the production. And he's one of the top scorers in the league. And you just can't say enough about him, the way he's run the football, the way he catches the football, the way he protects the passer, and the way he does it day in and day out as a running back in the league. And, he's been a stud. He's a captain for us, and having another great year.
Just what would it be like, just see an undrafted guy. It's got 100 receptions this year, but still it's possible 2 straight years with 20 scrimmage touchdowns.
Yeah, I think that when we got here, one of the things I told him is that, you fit the way that we want to play. And I think that you're most dangerous as an offense is if your back is a weapon in the passing game and a back that can score in multiple ways in the red zone. And we felt like he was going to be that type of guy for us. Now, to say that he was going to go back-to-back 20 touchdowns, you know, I don't know if you ever have that vision, but we had a vision to maximize this guy and that we were going to really try and bring his game to life here. And I think that's, as a coach, that's what you're trying to do with your players, is trying to give them a vision for how you want to use them. And then hopefully you have the proof. And a guy like Austin is like, hey, we had this vision for you, here it is. And then that way you can tell the next player, you know, and he's been great for us. And we're going to need, you know, his best down the stretch for us to be as good as we can be.